Mix 95.7, Grand Rapids Best Mix. We are the Big Joe and Laura Show. Welcoming you to the first of the month of April, a.k.a. April Fool's Day. Man,
Woo!
don't get fooled. I feel like I'm going to fall for something today.
Are you one of those people that falls for pranks? Are you gullible?
Well, at first, whenever I'm like, whoa, I'm like, oh, wait. Then I actually look at things now and verify. And I'm like, oh, I just wasted 20 minutes. Dang it. So you win either way. But it is April Fool's Day. Grandma Carol in Ohio, if you're listening, happy birthday to you. 85 today, I think my grandma is. I gotta give her a ring-a-ding. See what up.
Are you playing a prank or is that true?
No, it really is.
No, I know.
It's funny. It's my grandma's birthday today and my wife's grandpa. It's also his birthday today, but I don't know how old he is. But happy birthday, Mr. Gelder.
Happy birthday, all the people in Joe's family. I don't know anybody that even has an April birthday. I don't think. Oh, my cousin does.
Okay.
So that's about it, though.
Can I tell you something? I was looking at photos you posted over the weekend. You have got a cute baby. Like,
oh my gosh, isn't he?
Because people sometimes like, oh, the baby. No, this baby's cute. Because other babies out there, they can be ugly. You got a cute kid.
Listen, if I ever was one of those parents that wanted to be like, my kid's gonna be famous, my kid could be a Gerber baby. Like, I have no doubts of that. I don't want to put him through that. Show business is enough. Me being a radio, I'm not putting my kid through entertainment industry by any means if I can help it. But no, I mean, he's so cute. We had such a fun little weekend. It was his first Easter, so he got to play with Easter eggs. He dyed eggs with Grandma and Grandpa, and he's in the pictures that I posted up on my Laura Hardy Radio. I'll put them up on the Big Joe and Laura page, too, if you want to go check them out. But he's holding his little egg like, oh, my gosh, this is mine. You can't take it from me. And he got his first Easter basket, which was full of just a bunch of little toys, just because my husband and I were shopping for his Easter basket on Saturday, and my husband's like, this is just for us, right? Like, he's not going to remember this. He doesn't care. I was like, yeah, but like everybody else buys him stuff constantly. So I never get to buy him any little toys or fun things. So I just did it anyway. I knew he was going to get one at his grandparents' house, but I bought him some onesies. I got him a little camera he can play with, which is really cute. It's like a little baby camera. And he's really big into Elmo randomly because his grandparents have a Tickle Me Elmo in the house that he's lost his mind about. Like, he just loves the noises and everything. So we got him his own little Elmo for when he's at our house, and he's really excited about that too. So he's just got so much personality for such a little guy.
Do you have any leftovers from Easter?
I got a lot of dessert leftovers because the in-laws sent me home with like 3 different desserts. So I was thinking about bringing them in here, just dropping them on the counter and be like, can you guys eat this? Because I'm trying to be on a diet.
I knew I should have texted you last night because I have a giant thing. Obviously, you warm it up, but I've got a giant thing left of like mac and cheese that was made.
Why
I've got some green bean
mac and cheese. You don't like me at all, do you?
Hey, I don't like myself. I didn't even bring it in either, okay? Also, some green bean casserole and some mashed potatoes.
Lindsay, wake up and bring it to us. You know you care.
Okay, she's not going to get up until it's almost time for work to start.
I know.
All right, well, hey, we are so glad you're here with us. We got a lot of stuff going on. Obviously, we'll give you updates on everything happening with 131.
Yes.
It's going to be a cluster for a while. Today's a good news, not a joke. We kick off 30 grand in your hand today where, man, what would $30,000 do for you or somebody you know? It's possible.
Yeah, go check it out. Get details right now inside the Mix 95.7 app.
It's time for Big Joe and Laura's Need to Know News on Mix 95.7.
Driving on US 131 is going to be a pain over the next 4 weeks. The highway is now closed and detoured at 28th Street, also known as M11. One lane on northbound US 131 will stay open from Burton Street to Pearl Street. Northbound entrance ramps, though, will be closed at the following: Market Ave, 28th Street, 36th Street, and 44th Street. Now, Laura, if traffic flow kind of goes how it's supposed to with this detour, MDOT says it'll probably add about 10 to 15 minutes to your commute, but it could be longer.
It's going to be longer. Don't be dumb. Go a different way if you can.
One way you could go, they suggest detouring to M6 to avoid the mess. You can find all the details and a helpful map inside our Mix 95.7 app.
This is disappointing to hear. A few weeks after a fire caused them to temporarily close their doors, the Grand Rapids Brewing Company announced on Friday that they're going to be closing their doors for good.
I was kind of surprised by that.
Yeah, this seems a little suspicious to me, only because, don't they have insurance?
Well, I'm sure they do.
Well, they say that the damage from the fire was too much for them to come back from. The brewery expressed a gratitude and appreciation to customers for over the last 11 years who kept their doors open up until the fire. And they said on their Facebook page, on their last post, for now, though, 1 Ionia Avenue Southwest bids us farewell. So maybe they're going to a new location. Who knows? We'll see.
And your final need to know news story. I know a lot of kids are on spring break this week in West Michigan, and I've heard of kids faking being sick or missing, a school bus on purpose so they couldn't get to school. I tried both. But I've never heard of a kid doing this. A 9-year-old in California led police on a short car chase because he was trying to get to school.
I did notice a little head bopping inside, made an approach, and as I was approaching, I could see a kid, which turned out to be a 9-year-old child, sticking his head out saying, "I'm sorry, I'm trying to get to school."
No wonder you've never heard of a kid doing that. When do you ever hear of kids actually going to school or wanting to go to school? He had to get educated somehow.
That's your need to know news on Mix 95.7. The solar eclipse is happening on April 8th, and a lot of people have been talking about it. It's called the Path of Totality, Laura, where it's actually going to go through the United States from the southwest to the northeast, that kind of a path. And there are spots where it will be really creepy. The sun will totally be blocked out just by the moon. And we're close to that here in Michigan. But not really in the direct path. You'd have to drive a couple of hours. And kind of wondering, is anybody actually going to take the trip down to Indiana or Southeast Michigan? There's like one little town that has that, and actually see that.
Yeah, we're Big Joe and Laura here on Mix 95.7, Grand Rapids Best Mix. And you say that your wife wants to do this really bad, right?
Yes. Lindsay's like, oh my gosh, we need to go. And I was actually down with it at first because we were going to be in the area. We're going to go see Friday night. We're going to head down to Indianapolis and see Morgan Wallen. And then I'm like, okay, I guess we could stay there because it happens on Monday. And Indianapolis will be in that, quote, path of totality.
Yes.
But we're going to come back early because our grandpa's got his birthday party on Sunday.
Aw.
So I don't want to go back. And I'm like, what are we going to do? I want to see this, but I don't want to make the commitment to actually go and do it.
No, listen, if you want to see it, you've got to make the commitment. Within reason. I'll be honest. I lived in Louisville, Kentucky during the last big solar eclipse in 2017.
Okay.
We were at 0.958%, meaning 95% totality, which is pretty close. It was amazing. I got a great experience. I didn't have to go straight because I think that I would have had to drive a few hours north into Indiana in order to have gotten the full totality. But we did a whole eclipse viewing party. We were up on a rooftop. We had the glasses, the whole 9 yards. And it was amazing. And I feel like I would prefer to be almost there because A, you're not going to deal with all that traffic and nonsense, and B, you're kind of more in your safe spot. So here in West Michigan, I do believe we're at 91%-ish.
Yeah, I was trying to look that up again. Yeah, I know it's in the 90s, but that's pretty good, right?
And they say it's a big difference between the two. It's like the difference between getting IMAX and not IMAX when you see the totality and not. But like I said, I saw it at 0.95 or 95%, and I thought that was great. I think it's fun, but if you don't already have plans in place, you don't already have a place to stay, you don't already have a place to watch it, you're not going to have a good time because all that stuff has been booked up. Like I know the Indianapolis Museum, because we're also going down that weekend before for Morgan Wallen on a separate day. We looked into it, and like the Indianapolis Art Museum even has a whole thing sold out. Don't even try. Other places you look around, all the hotels sold out. And there's even one place here in Michigan, in Southeast Michigan, there's only one city with only 1,300 people that will be in the path of totality if you want to stay in the state. And they've straight up just told people, please don't show up. We only have one police officer on duty.
It's going to wreck the entire town.
Yeah, you're going to ruin us. Like, please don't show up. So if you have family or friends in that area and you want to go, I think that's totally fine if you're planning to go hang out in someone's backyard or something like that and you have the glasses. But if you're just now planning, Joe, I hate to tell you, it is too late. You have missed the boat. Just stay here in West Michigan and enjoy what you can get.
But Lindsay's like, we could just drive and stop along the highway or something.
Yeah, that's a great way to get hit by something. Like, what do you mean stop along the highway? You have to at least get out of the path of people.
Laura,
have you ever seen an eclipse? It's the weirdest thing on the planet. It gets weirdly silent when it happens.
No, that's
the birds stop chirping, the traffic's like everything stopped. It's the quietest I've ever heard anything be in my life.
No, the only thing I've seen like a Mitsubishi eclipse. I've had eclipse gum.
No, neither of those things are the same.
I see. The more you talk about it now, I feel like I can't miss this. Like I kind of feel like I've reversed where I stood, and I need to go now.
No, you don't. No, you can get the same experience if you're close. You just don't show up somewhere if you don't already have plans. It's too late.
616-600-0957. Are you agreeing with Laura? Like, hey, it'll be perfectly fine here in West Michigan. We don't have to drive 3 or 4 hours across to another state.
Or you could go at least south. You could go over to like Portage or somewhere in like Constantine, Kalamazoo, somewhere in the south part of the state, and at least get a little closer, but don't go to the path of totality unless you have a plan.
616-600-0957. Love to know what you think.
It's time for Big Joe and Laura's Need to Know News on Mix 95.7.
Driving on US 131 is going to be a pain over the next 4 weeks. The highway is now closed and detoured at 28th Street, also known as M11. One lane on northbound US 131 will stay open from Burton Street to Pearl Street. Northbound entrance ramps, though, will be closed at the following: Market Ave, 28th Street, 36th Street, and 44th Street. Now, Laura, if traffic flow kind of goes how it's supposed to with this detour, MDOT says it'll probably add about 10 to 15 minutes to your commute, but you know it could be longer.
You know it's going to be longer. Don't be dumb. Go a different way if you can.
One way you could go, they suggest detouring to M6 to avoid the mess. You can find all the details and a helpful map inside our Mix 95.7 app.
All right, you already know that this is a law, and if you haven't been following it, it might start to affect you. April is Distracted Driving Awareness Month, and Michigan law enforcement agencies are partnering with the Highway of Office Planning to crack down on those hands-free violations. So if you're out there texting and driving or looking at your phone or not using hands-free, you're about to get in some trouble for it.
Yeah, you can't even touch your phone. Like, I have a holder on the middle of my console. You're not even supposed to be touching that.
No, especially if you're moving at all. If you're at a stoplight, it's kind of a gray area, but I'd still try not to mess with it as much as possible. So far this year, the Michigan State Police in our area here in Grand Rapids have already issued 80 citations and 58 verbal warnings to drivers, and that was before they were starting to crack down. So here's your friendly reminder. Make sure your Bluetooth's on and your hands-free as much as possible, or if you got to make that call or look something up, pull over and be safe. We don't want to have anybody have any problems, especially with all that traffic and nonsense on 131. You don't want to be slamming into the back of somebody because you're looking at your phone, so be careful.
And your final need-to-know news story, I mean, this seems like something out of a Final Destination movie. It happened in Oregon where a man was nearly killed when a 4-foot-tall construction saw blade got loose.
So I was walking into the store here, put my handle on the door, and I heard a loud bang and yelling over here at the corner. Just as a cloud of smoke pops up, and I see a guy fall into the ditch, and a 4-foot blade hurling at me as I'm walking through the doorway. Thinking maybe it's my time, but I don't think I would have survived being touched by that thing.
Listen, this is exactly why I get anxious about anything that could remotely do this. Like, I'm always wondering, like, is that attached well enough? Is it going to come flying at me? This is my nightmare.
Not to put fear into you, but I was thinking about this, getting my lawnmower ready to start cutting our grass, and I was like, well, what if somehow the lawnmower blade shoots off and cuts my legs off? I'm like, ah!
Oh, God, that kind of stuff. Or anytime that my husband has to clean the dishwasher disposal, I'm always worried it's just going to magically start working. Like, it's just going to turn on.
Yeah.
Oh, God.
Have a great day. Don't be scared. That's your Need to Know News on Mix 95.7.
It's time to play Laura Can't Lose on Mix 95.7. Here's how it happens. Laura leaves the room, and we all enjoy the silence for a little bit, and you'll have 1 minute to answer 5 questions. You can pass if you need to, and we'll come back if time allows. A tie goes to Laura because, well, her name's on the show. Here's who's playing Laura Can't Lose today.
Representing the fine city of Cedar Springs, let's say good morning to Mary.
Good morning, Mary. How you doing?
I'm doing fantastic.
Today, our Michigan Lottery scratch-off ticket jackpot is up to $35. It's growing. Mary could take it home, or it might continue to grow. We'll see how it goes.
Mary, go ahead and tell Laura to get out of the studio.
Please vacate the studio.
I am vacating the studio. Pronto. Post-haste.
Okay, she talks so much. Okay, now that the door is closed and she's out of here, let's get to the questions. Number 1.
Alrighty.
The Colorado town of Aspen is famous for which sport?
Downhill skiing.
Question 2. Johnny Knoxville became famous in what TV show?
Oh, I pass right now.
Question 3. What is the name for an animal who only eats plants?
Fish.
Question 4. Cardinals are birds that are what color?
Red.
Question number 5. End of the Road was a hit song for which boy band in 1992?
Pass.
Question 2 again. Johnny Knoxville became famous in what TV show?
I believe it's Jackass.
Question 5. End of the Road was a hit for what boy band in 1992?
No idea.
Okay, I'm going to stop right there and bring Laura in.
Laura! La, 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 Laura!
Laura, there is a chance today to beat Mary in Cedar Springs.
Okay.
If you get 3 right, you will tie. Any more than that, and you could win.
Oh, okay. Let's see how I do.
Question 1. The Colorado town of Aspen is famous for what sport?
Skiing.
That is correct. 1-1. Question 2. Johnny Knoxville became famous on what TV show?
That would be Jackass, which I feel weird saying on the radio, even though I know you're allowed to.
Actually,
So was I.
I don't think you're allowed to say that. Try saying it again, Laura.
Jack.
Question 3. What is the name for an animal who only eats plants?
That would be a herbivore.
You are correct. I would answer the same as Mary. She said fish.
I mean, you're not wrong, but there are some fish that do eat other fish, so.
Laura, you have now taken the lead 3-2. Question number 4. Cardinals are birds that are what color?
Well, I mean, there's 2 answers here. I think you're looking for the color of male cardinals, which is red, but technically female cardinals are brown. So
Yeah, that's boring. We're talking about the man
I
showing
know.
it off.
Oh, stop it.
Come on. Laura, you have got a 4-3 lead going into question number 5. Let's see how this goes. End of the Road was a hit for what boy band in 1992?
End of the road. I don't know that I'd consider them a boy band, even though they are all dudes. Are you talking about Boys to Men?
Well, boys is in the title, yes.
I know, but I think of like the Backstreet Boys or New Kids on the Block. But I mean, yeah, technically they are a boy band.
All right, even though she criticizes every question I come up with, she got all 5 of them right today. And Mary, I'm sorry, but you lose.
I'm sorry.
That's okay. No problem.
No, it's all about taking the swings, Mary. We appreciate you.
Hey, if you want to be like
All
Mary
right.
and hopefully win a game and play some Laura Can't Lose, you got to take your shot. Give us a call to play 616-600-0957.
You know, vehicle shopping is hard enough, but when you have to take an entire kind of vehicle off the plate because your husband won't drive one, it's even more difficult. Hey, we're Big Joe and Laura on Mix 95.7, Grand Rapids Best Mix.
So what vehicle will your husband James not drive?
It's not a make or a model. It's a type of vehicle, and that's minivans. He says, no, we're not getting a minivan. They're dorky. I'm not doing it. I'll drive anything else, literally anything else, but do not make me drive a minivan. And you know, I don't think they're that bad. And if you're a minivan driver or maybe an anti-minivan driver, give us a call at 616-600-0957. We'd love to hear from you.
I don't understand why people now knock minivans or think that they're embarrassing. I get 15, 20 years ago, I remember I was going to have to drive my mom's minivan. I'm like, no. But looking back at it, it was like a Dodge Grand Caravan. The seats popped out. They folded down. You can take all your buddies everywhere. I feel like those are perfect nowadays, not only as your husband being a father and everything, but you guys going out to buy things, bringing them back. Like, it's the all-around cool vehicle, and they've updated so many of the features inside.
You know, I agree with you, and I kind of see both sides of it because I've had to drive a minivan before in the past because I had an ex that had one, so I'd have to drive his car sometimes, and they're great for hauling things and stuff like that, but I'm going to be honest, I like an SUV for the same reason, especially like the one we're looking at right now is the 2024 Hyundai Santa Fe. It's got a foldable third row that makes it basically like having a truck or the back end. So it's like I like that stuff. But there are a few features that minivans have that I do like. Like sometimes they'll have the screens built into the back of the seats, which I'm like, ooh, that's nice. We take a lot of road trips, especially going back home to my family in Kentucky.
Yeah, you could be a passenger princess.
Absolutely. Plus all the climate control stuff in the back and everything, although the SUV we're looking at has that as well. But I don't know. I'm on the fence, and he's a hard no on the minivan. But I think that we might regret not getting the minivan down the line when, maybe we have it for a few years and he has friends and we want to haul them around and it's like, oh no, we only have enough seats for like 2 kids and he's got 4 friends or whatever it might be. I feel like the minivan might be the kind of the game saver in that case.
I mean, I've told Laura this before the show even started, but obviously she doesn't fully believe me. So 616-600-0957. If you want to call in and share with Laura how amazing these things are, or if there's a point, like James is kind of hesitant, like, dude, Do not get a minivan.
You don't have to get the minivan. We want to hear from you. 616-600-0957.
We are here to dispel rumors that minivans are not cool to be driving around West Michigan in. It's Big Joe and Laura here on Mix 95.7, Grand Rapids Best Mix. And that's at least what I'm trying to tell Laura, because your husband James is like, I don't want a minivan.
Yeah, he's basically saying, I'm not doing the minivan thing. We can get an SUV. I know we need something big enough for the little guy and the dog, but I'm not willing to be a dad in a minivan. And I'm trying to convince him it's not so bad. We'd love to hear your experience. Are you pro minivan or against it? 616-600-0957. And in Kalamazoo, do I get the minivan or is it lame?
I am a mom, but I am pretty anti-minivan. I'm going to agree with your husband. I think they're dorky. I can't help it.
All right, hold on, though.
Sorry.
What makes them dorky? And they're cool.
What?
I mean, they're super expensive, which must make them cool, right?
Yeah.
And they have these. They have I will say the door that you can click that just lights open.
Yeah.
And I'll say it's secretly cool, but I just can't. I can't do it. I drive an SUV. There's tons of room for the kids. Yeah, I can't do it.
And does that SUV of yours, though, have a vacuum?
It doesn't.
Oh, all
I don't
right.
know that most
That is
minivans
pretty
have
cool.
a
That
vacuum,
is-
Joe.
That's way cooler than the door. That's way cooler than the door.
Okay, and what kind of SUV do you drive? What do you recommend?
I drive a GMC Acadia. There's tons of room, and it gets pretty good gas mileage too.
See, that's what I like to hear because I come from driving small cars, and so I'm already not happy. I have to upgrade to something big, so gas mileage is super important to me.
Yeah, but did you hear her mention a vacuum? I didn't.
Listen, I don't know what
no
minivan...
vacuum. I see where you're going with this. Yeah.
Joe,
I can't do it though.
Joe, no, that is not the feature that's going to sell it for me. All right, and thank you for being on team. You don't have to get the minivan. We appreciate hearing from you this morning. Kim and Muskegon, yes or no, should me and my husband get a minivan?
Oh, absolutely.
Oh, what do you love about yours?
Oh, I don't have one anymore. I wish I did. I miss it terribly. It was great with the kids and the dogs. When I moved up from Florida, the first car I got when I moved up here was a minivan at my cousin's recommendation and front wheel drive. And it just, you couldn't get that thing to go off the road.
Oh, that's what I like to hear because I came from the South also. And my little Honda Accord loves to slide and slip everywhere. So that's like kind of one of my top priorities is something that'll just stay.
Highly recommend a van, and not like a Toyota, a light one. Get a good heavy van.
Get the thick boy.
Yeah, make sure it's thick.